Well, hello out there in YouTube land. I thought it was kind of a rainy day, but it's now starting to become fall here in Japan. A little bit anyway. It's still kind of hot, but I thought for this advanced listening practice lesson, I'd give you some interesting background to look at. I am near my home actually here in Japan, and so I had a lovely Japanese garden, or a kind of small one behind me, just for a little bit of ambiance. But I like it, especially being able to sit here in a Japanese room and look out, and I get to see some lovely trees and a little bit of rain falling. So I hope you enjoy that as well. As always, this is our advanced listening practice, this new series. I will be speaking much more quickly than maybe you're used to if you enjoy English lessons here on YouTube. So if you're not familiar with me or my channel, you're new to the channel, I do highly recommend you go back and watch a lot of the previous videos so you can get used to my voice. So that way, when you're listening to me, you can start enjoying a lot more of the faster English I'm speaking, and this will help you get used to watching the fast spoken English in conversations in movies or in just everyday conversations you're having with people. So if you're understanding that and you're ready to go, let's begin. Well, today I wanted to talk about something pretty interesting, actually. I have a new baby. I had mentioned that in a previous video if you've been watching these already. She's doing very well. Thank you for all the congratulations and the well wishes again. But this was actually something a few days ago. So I was, just sitting at home, and we had some visitors come over. These are two elderly women. So they came over. These are family friends. We've known them for a long time. And obviously, you have a baby and everybody wants to come look at the baby, especially a half baby. Now in Japan, since, it's a mixed baby, they call them half kids out here. You probably wouldn't use that in America, but out here, she's known, Arya, my daughter, is known as a half baby. So they're very cute, and, obviously people want to come over and take a look and see what they're like, especially if they've never met one in person before. Anyway, so we had these two elderly women come over. One of them, I think, is about maybe 80 years old, and another one is in her, I think, maybe next week or next month, she'll be turning 90 years old. So the slightly younger one is actually still quite active and likes to do a lot of stuff, and so is the older one, or so does the older one, I should say. But, she's still moving a little bit more slowly, and it's a bit more difficult for her to get around. So, she has a cane, and we try to help her move. But so anyway, they came to the house. They relaxed with us for a little bit, got to see the baby and hold the baby a little bit. So they really enjoyed that. But I happened to be going back downtown when the both of them were leaving the house. And I actually went home, or I didn't go home, but, I was going out for the day. I was going out to do some errands or something like that after they left. And so I took the same train as the 90-year-old woman, or the one that's about to be 90 years old. Now, what was really interesting about this, and this is actually something very important for fluency or for whatever it is you happen to be studying, when you're, thinking about, well, actually, before I get into this, I'll let you kind of explore, get used to the just the story a little bit. But so anyway, so we're going to the train station, and we're walking downstairs, and everything is taking a lot longer. I'm actually holding her by the hand and walking really, really slowly as we go to the train station. And then we get on the train, and then we take the train all the way downtown together, and then we're talking on the train about different things, about how she had like an open heart surgery. So she had a double bypass 21 years ago, and she is still alive. So she's still doing very well, and she'll get into the pool and do some walking and things like that. Now that in and of itself, that by itself is not so interesting, but when we got to the train station, I actually held her hand as we walked all the way to her house. Now, if I'm walking by myself, it would probably take me maybe 2 minutes to get where she lives, but it took us about 20, and she was still winded. This is a great word here, winded, W-I-N-D-E-D. To be winded by something means you're kind of tired, like you're doing a lot of running or exercising, and then you get tired like that, so you're feeling winded. So anyway, so I'm walking with her, and I really noticed a whole bunch of things. It was much different from my normal walking, because I'll put some headphones on, and I'm usually, I'm fairly tall. I'm about 6'1", and I move through the city pretty quickly. I like to walk around, and it's nice and relaxing for me. That's my exercise sometimes. And instead of taking a tram or a bus around the city, I'll just walk from different places. And in Nagasaki, there are a lot of hills, so we can climb up and get a little bit of extra, get a little bit of extra workout like that, like working on a treadmill that's going up like that. So anyway, I'm walking with her, and instead of what I normally do, walking really quickly, I'm really walking slowly. And this isn't even normally like just slow walking like I'm in a museum looking around. It's like even more slowly than that. But I really appreciated the chance to do that. Now, I wouldn't walk around by myself normally that slow, as I'm saying, but walking with her, I'm kind of talking with her, and I'm noticing all these little shops and things like that that I wouldn't notice normally. Now, you'll probably get a good feeling for this if you maybe take a car or you take a train or something like that. With each mode of transportation, you're getting to the mode or you're getting to the location you want to be at faster. So if I take an airplane or I take a train or a bus or something like that, or even a bicycle, I'm getting there faster than by walking. But what you sacrifice is not being able to notice a lot of the things very quickly. And this really gets to the heart, what I wanted to talk about today, and something that's very important and really part of the way that I teach and try to help students learn. And this is about how you can really begin to focus by deciding on what your real objective is. A lot of people want to get to fluency quickly, and we really try to help people get there as quickly as possible. But really, one of the best ways to get there quickly is to get there slowly. Now, I know that sounds weird, but what you're really trying to do is focus on things, and in the same way, instead of walking really quickly to try to get to this end destination, all of the things that you're missing in the middle of that when you move so quickly, those are the things that really are going to help you get fluent. So right now I'm using a metaphor here to try to connect the speed at which I'm walking. So I notice all these things, and I'm speaking with this woman, and she was explaining to me what's changed in the neighborhood and some new things that happened and other things like that, and where she lived. And so I walked her all the way to her house, and we saw all these interesting things. It was only like 2 or 3 blocks that we walked. We walked across an overpass down from Nagasaki Station, and then we just walked up 2 streets and walked over another street, crossed a river, and that was her home. So it was actually a really quick walk, but within all of these spaces, all of these different things were happening. And my view of all that had changed, because even though I had walked that same way before, you didn't really notice those things. It's not the same way you would think about that. Maybe you just don't care. It's not so important to you. But what I'd like you to think about is, instead of trying to rush through things, maybe you get a video lesson from me or somebody else, you get really excited, you want to watch the whole thing, and that's what you do. What I would really encourage you to do is to take time with things like that. Let's say I make, even this video, it's longer than a few minutes, or I have some videos that are longer than this, maybe 30 minutes long. But you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can focus on maybe 5 minutes of that thing and really try writing it or reading it, or you could try speaking along with me as I speak. There are lots of different ways to practice, and instead of rushing to try to get to something, because you think that fluency is a location or a place you have to get to as quickly as possible, really the fluency is the journey. Now, I know this is kind of a cliche, like a cliche is something that, well, everybody knows that, and it's just not something worth saying, but it's really important, and I think it's something that a lot of people forget. It's the same thing with business or anything else that takes a lot of time. The actual journey, but especially with fluency, all of these little things that you learn, like even just sitting around in this room right here. I've got the names of plants behind me, or I've got the style of the room, or even this, like the names of physical objects that you wouldn't think about, like the window pane or the window sill or the window cover or other things like that. And there's lots of different things that if we take our time, instead of just learning the word room, we can really dive into a particular thing, and what you should be using for that is something you're really interested in. So as an example, I'm here with a lovely Japanese garden behind me because I'm interested in that, and I want to share that with you a little bit and get you involved in the atmosphere. And part of the reason I came to Japan was because of this. Actually, the main reason I came to Japan was because of what you see behind me. There's actually a Japanese maple in the background, that taller one of these couple of bushes here, but that's one of my favorite trees. And it's really beautiful to look at, especially, you can see the rain coming down a little bit after it's got a little bit of light rain, just covering the leaves a little bit. But anyway, you can see that instead of trying to rush through things, that taking your time is really the secret to getting it is, whatever the particular thing you're after, but especially fluency. So just like me taking that old woman by the hand and walking and talking with her and taking a moment to really walk, not just slowly, but extra slowly, to really take even more time. It kind of felt uncomfortable for me. But really, when you think about something feeling uncomfortable for you, it just means that it's new and different. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Our bodies and our minds, they naturally want us to be doing things that we are feeling comfortable with. So it's easy to do what's comfortable, what's everyday, and all these other things. But if you really take your time and try to do something new and different, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but it's probably going to be worth it for you as well. So I highly recommend you do that. A great English phrase where we kind of talk about this, or the idea is connected with, is stop and smell the roses. So take time to stop and smell the roses. This means if I'm walking down the street, I should stop and maybe take a look at some things, like some beautiful flowers by the side of the road, and smell them. So take a moment to enjoy that, not be so hurried and trying to do things quickly all the time. If you look at people, the people that get fluent are the ones that steadily improve a little bit each month. And this is exactly why we teach people how to do this in Master English Conversation. That's why we don't give thousands of phrases. We give maybe a few hundred and let you maybe do 2 or 3 phrases a day that you can learn. And then that's what's really going to help you get fluent. So when you can really build a foundation of things that you really focus on, you come at that information from a lot of different angles, then you have a really solid foundation of information that you won't forget. And then you build on that each month. And that's why Master English Conversation members really enjoy the program. They know they're not moving as quickly as possible, but they're going to be overall approaching fluency much faster because they're actually learning things and remembering them, and they won't forget them later, so that way they won't have to study things over and over again. So that's just another fantastic reason to join the program if you're not already a member. If you'd like to learn more about Master English Conversation, you can also click on the link in this video or in the description below this video. But whether you learn with me or not, it doesn't matter. The point is, I really want you to see improvement in your fluency and other aspects of your life, your health, your wealth, all of these things, and a lot of that is going to come from stopping and smelling the roses. Well, that's it for this advanced listening practice lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you next time as soon as this gets to 100 million views. All right, we'll just make it easy. We'll just say 10,000 views again. You guys have been actually doing that pretty quickly. But, if it gets 100 million views, maybe I'll do something even crazier. We'll see. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson video. Bye-bye.